Good morning and welcome back to yet another video series from Digital E-Learning. Today we are going to look at the medical device classification. Classification is arguably one of the most important steps in FDA medical device approval process, and understanding how the US FDA classifies devices is critical for identifying the proper regulatory pathway, that is either the 510K or the PMA. Choosing the wrong device class could cost you the considerable time and money and result in regulatory actions and legal actions also. So in this short video, we have covered how the medical devices are classified as class 1, class 2 and class 3, and what are different types of medical devices, whether are there active medical devices and non-active medical devices. And I also covered some examples as well, so please watch this video till the end.
Don't forget to like, comment and share with all your friends as well. And in case if you are visiting my channel for the first time, don't forget to subscribe as well and do hit that bell icon as well for all the notifications from Digital E-Learning on my upcoming next videos.
So before we jump to medical device classification, let us understand the definition of medical device as per the FDA. So as per FDA, medical device is an apparatus, implemented machine, appliance, implant, reagent for in vitro use, software, material or any other similar or related article intended by the manufacturer to be used alone or in combination for human being for one or more of the specified medical purpose, and that includes diagnosis, prevention, monitoring, treatment or alleviation of disease, diagnosis, monitoring, treatment, alleviation or of compensation for an injury, investigation, replacement, modification or support of an anatomy or a physiological process, supporting or sustaining life, control of conception and disinfection of medical device. So this is a medical device. And let us understand different classes of medical devices. FDA has established the classification for around 1700 different generic type of devices, and in order to better regulate these devices, FDA has divided them into 16 different specialties called panel. Each of them is classified into class 1, class 2 or class 3, and this classification is assigned on the basis of risk and medical device present to the patient. For class 1 it is low risk, class 2 is moderate risk, and class 3 is the high risk item. So as the risk increases from class 1 to class 2, the level of regulatory control also increases. And within the FDA, the Center for Device and Radiological Health, that is CRDH, is responsible for ensuring the safety and the effectiveness of medical devices and eliminating unnecessary exposure to radiation emitting products. So let us understand more about these three classes, class 1, class 2 and class 3. We'll start with the class 1 first. So class 1 medical devices have the least amount of regulatory control, and there are approximately 1700 types of medical devices overall, out of which 780 fall under class 1, that is approximately 47% of medical devices. And out of these 780 families, 95 of these are exempted from the regulatory process. And if your device fall into generic category of class 1 exempt devices, the pre-market notification application and the FDA clearance is not required before marketing the device in the US. However, manufacturer is required to register their establishment and list their generic product with the FDA. They only require the general controls and no special controls are required for the class 1. And the regulatory pathway is only the self-registration or the 510K. As far as class 2 medical devices are those where general control are not sufficient enough to assure the safety and effectiveness of medical devices, and you need special control as well. There are around 800 families of medical devices out of 1700, which is approximately 43% of the medical devices. They are mostly require the 510K submission, but in 10 to 15% of devices do require clinical trial as well. And they are the moderate risk devices. Now if we talk about the class 3 medical devices, there are approximately 120 type of families of class 3 devices. They are the highest risk devices and are therefore subjected to the highest level of regulatory control. Class 3 medical devices basically possess the highest risk to the end user or the patient. And in addition to general control and special control, they require the pre-market approval as well. They are approximately around 10% of the medical devices regulated by FDA. Normally, all the class 3 devices are generally life supporting or life sustaining devices. Now, let us understand the different types of medical devices. First is the active medical devices. So the active medical devices are those that rely on its functioning on source of electrical energy or any source of power other than directly generated by the human body or gravity, and which acts by converting this energy. Active medical devices tend to be more complex in nature than the non-active medical devices. Example could be the ultrasound scanner, lung ventilator, X-ray machines, pacemakers, and physiotherapy. And within the active medical devices, there is another subcategory known as active implantable medical devices. This group of medical devices is referred to as which is intended to be totally or partially introduced surgically or medically into the human body or by medical interventions into the natural orifice, and which is intended to be remain in after the procedure. Examples could be your pacemakers, your brain stimulators, and your heart stimulators. Then we have the non-active medical devices. Non-active medical devices are those that do not require the application of electrical or mechanical energy in order to perform the function. Example like cardiovascular stents, valves, surgical equipments, stents, your balloon catheters, etc. Similar to the regulation for all other types of medical devices, the selection of applicable regulations for non-active medical devices depend upon the intended use of device and the duration of contact and the degree of risk the device presents to the patient. Last category is the IVD devices or the in vitro diagnostic medical devices. In vitro is a Latin word which means a technique of performing a given procedure in a controlled environment outside the living organism. And in vitro diagnostic medical devices are those medical devices which are used in combination or alone to be for performing the in vitro diagnostics. It includes like blood and tissue donation derived from human body solely or principally for the purpose of providing information. The best examples are like the blood test we do. So let us understand what is the difference between the general control and special control. In nutshell, general control helps the FDA keep tracks of what products are being sold by whom and how effective and safe those products are. Some of the general control guidelines include registration of medical device manufacturer, distributor, repackager, re-labeler with the FDA. This registration basically lets the FDA know that they exist an entity, and it gives the agency information about whom to contact in case of any need arises. Next is the listing of medical device with FDA, so that agency can keep a track of what kind of devices are being marketed in the United States of America. Normally the class 1 devices which are exempted just need the general controls. Labeling devices. Label must contain appropriate warning as needed to ensure the safe and effective use of devices. Next is the adulteration. A device or a drug is deemed to be adulterated if it contains any poisonous substance or any unsafe color additive. Next is the misbranding. A device or drug is deemed to be misbranded if it is labeled is false or misleading. Could be putting an intended use on a device labeling that FDA did not clear for, or device commercially distributed without the FDA clearance. Special controls. Special controls come into play when general controls aren't deemed to be sufficient to deal with the situation. Normally, class 2 and class 3 medical devices are subjected to special controls because they possess a higher risk to the patient than class 1. And special controls are the regulatory requirements for class 2 and class 3 devices. Some of the special controls include special labeling requirement, compliance with the mandatory performance standard, and the post-market surveillance. Let us look at some of the examples of class 1. So it includes like tongue depressor, bandages, gloves, simple surgical devices, stethoscope. Some of the examples of class 2 devices include wheelchair, X-ray machines, MRI machines, surgical needles, catheters, diagnostic equipments, spinal implants, or your dental implants. All these are examples of class 2 medical devices. Class 3 devices, which are the highest risk devices, include like heart valves, stents, implanted pacemakers, silicone implants, hip and bone joints. All are these examples of class 3 medical devices. So that's all I have on this video on medical device classification as per FDA for US class 1, class 2 and class 3. Now you can follow digital e-learning on other social media platforms like Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Telegram, Facebook and Twitter. And link for all these is given below in the description. You can check out those. And don't forget to share this video with all your friends and colleagues, and do hit the subscribe button and the bell icon as well for all the notification from digital e-learning. Thank you for watching this video demonstration, and I hope you find it useful and informative as well. Do visit my YouTube channel for more of such stuff, and don't forget to share it with all your friends and colleagues, and do hit the like button as well. Thank you until we meet you in next video.